Okay, sorry we're a little late, guys. Let me. Oh, this is going. What's up, kids? Sorry we're late, but I think we got it all worked out. All right.
Hello.
What's shaking, bacon? I don't really.
What's up, dude?
You. Live. All right. Here, Cal.
You getting ready?
Turn around this way and just hit the blue button. Hit the blue button. The big go live button.
Hey, Melissa.
Hey, I can't see anyone.
No, you can't see me?
No.
Is that right?
Uh-oh. Hold on. Let me try to
I hope it doesn't have.
figure this out here.
Can you hear us okay?
I can hear you.
You can't see us?
I can't see her. Oh, there you are.
Hey! All right, cool. So we got some people on here. We are going to get this going. We're going to rock it out. Got a little bit of a stressful day. I'm a little stressed out right now. So, good. So we got technology working. We're streaming on YouTube. We're on Zoom. We're streaming on Facebook. We're not on Instagram. So some of you guys are lucky. Let me get this angle. How is that? You can see us and you can see the pots?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So
yeah, it's good.
welcome to Cooking with Tony and Melissa, right? So Melissa chose this recipe. She's choosing these recipes every day. And this is actually one of my favorite recipes. I love it a lot. It's sweet. It's savory. It's got a nice little depth to it from the feta. So I'm going to let her tell you about this recipe.
Okay. So basically this started out for me a few years ago when I was a vegetarian and I was looking for something I can make for the family. So annoying.
Yes,
So this was actually a stuffing for peppers or sweet potatoes or stuffed shells, anything you wanted to stuff into it. But what happened was I made so much of it and it was so good, it never ever stuffed in anything, if that makes sense. We always ate it as a main dish or a side dish. I never stuffed it in anything. So you guys could, after you make it, you could experiment with that. But every time I bring it over to anyone's house, everyone loves it. It always disappears. So
yeah, so we got to start stuffing it. That's the key. That's what it comes down to.
You stuff it or don't stuff it. That's your choice.
I'll start stuffing it.
I'm not a stuffer.
I'm a stuffer.
So, okay.
I like stuff.
So I already cooked up. I actually used this time because that's what I had. I don't know if you guys could see that, but that's a multicolored quinoa. And that's about a cup and a half, and it makes about 2 cups or so. So,
This is hot.
oops.
So I turned on this pan. We got our cast iron skillet. We like our cast iron skillet. It adds some flavor. It's pretty even heat. And we're going to add some oil to it in a couple of minutes. So we have all our ingredients together. This uses onions. The main thing is quinoa, onions, spinach, dried cranberries. What else? We got feta. You put it in at the end. What else is in it?
Walnuts.
Walnut. No, slivered almonds.
Almonds.
Almonds. No garlic?
No garlic.
Wow. One of my favorite ingredients, and there's none of it. So you want to get your pan nice and hot.
Garlic.
You could, I guess. Actually, I don't think it would be that great with garlic now that I think about it.
So I'm taking, in this pan, it's just a plain dry pan. Nothing's in it. I just wiped it to make sure it was clean. That's how I toast the almonds. So these are raw slivered almonds. And I take it's a quarter cup. But then whenever I look at the quarter cup, it's never enough. So I usually add a little bit more. And then you just kind of, on a medium flame, wait till it starts to toast. That looks like I need a little bit more.
It's nice. It adds a little bit of crunch and some really good texture to it. So I love having the almonds in there. And then the dried cranberries. You could get craisins. We actually found some organic cranberries over at Whole Foods.
They also have lower sugar craisins.
Yeah.
Do you want to cut some of that?
Yeah. So we're going to cut up some onion. You need the whole thing cut?
Yeah.
Now, here's really cool. The way I like to cut my onion is super cool. And Cal's going to come over for you guys on Facebook. But I'm going to cut it and slice it in thin slices this way. And then I'm going to slice it across here through. Okay? And then when I chop it all the way through, you're going to find that you have nice diced onion. You don't have to throw it in a dicer. And for me, I just found out it was really easy. So that's the first thing I'm going to do is kind of slice it long ways, right? We already have some cut up. So when it heats up, we can show you what it looks like. All right, but I'll show you after I cut this how nice it looks and how easy it is to chop. Now, I may start to tear up because I love cooking so much that it makes me cry, but really it's the onion. All right, so this is what it looks like, right? When you slice it sideways, right? You see that? You got it sliced and it comes up like that in strips, right? And you can see it sliced through, right? You can see it sliced through. And now I'm just going to chop it straight down.
I should probably
and you can make this as fine as you want. You can make it as fine as you want by, making the slices thinner. You can make it as coarse as you like by making them thicker. Now, if you just wanted, strips of it, you just do that one time, and then you're good to go. All right, so that's what we got. So now we're ready to add this to the hot oil pan, and I use the back of my knife so I don't dull my knife. All right, so we're going to get this working. What's so funny?
The cookies.
Oh, well, whatever. So I need a spatula or something for this. Can you get that? All right, so I just have this on a medium flame, all right, because I don't want to burn my onions, but I want to cook them. They should be clear by the time we're done? Okay. So they should be clear when we're done. These should cook up pretty quick.
Actually, you're going to cook that, and then you're going to add the spinach to it.
Okay. So kind of quickly. You want your spinach cooked and wilted.
Wilted.
You don't want it, super soft, but you also don't want it feeling fresh. So I love this recipe, and I am the biggest carnivore you'll ever meet. But I ask Melissa for this all the time, and yeah, I'll eat it as like a light main dish. It's just wonderful. There's so many things I like about it. Melissa's actually made some really good vegetarian dishes over the years that even as a huge meat eater, like we just had ribs for Memorial Day, as a huge meat eater, I actually like them and I'll eat them as a meal. They're hearty, they satisfy me, and they're really delicious. Now, I won't say that for every single thing, but for a good amount. How many of you guys out there have to eat your meat? That's good? Okay. What do you do now? So these are toasted. We're adding pepper. Now, any of you guys, so a little salt, a little pepper. Has anybody seen any of my other cooking demos? If you have, just throw it in the comments, because I always say how I figured out how much of everything to put in. For me, I don't really use a whole lot of recipes, and if you're like me, you tend to be a little creative and you go by flavor. I always learned to cook from my mom, and I love telling the story. My mom, I would hang out in the kitchen with her when she was making like Sunday sauce, for example. Come on, Sandy, you know this. You're from Jersey, right? She'd be making her Sunday sauce. Some people will call it gravy. I call it sauce. With some sausage in there, some cubed beef, some pork, some veal. And she'd be putting oregano in. And I would say, hey, Ma, how much oregano are you putting in? And you know what her answer was?
Enough.
Enough. Thanks. I was going to ask them first. Enough. And I would go, well, how much is enough? And she goes, it's enough. I said, how do you know when it's enough? She goes, when it's enough. It's okay. And then she'd be putting basil in. I'd say, Ma, how much basil you put in? Enough. Well, how do you know how much that is? When it's enough. So the one thing she taught me from that is anytime I tell you guys, how much do we put in? You say enough, okay? Everybody together kind of thing. But what she taught me was something that was very pragmatic and is going to serve you really well, not just in cooking, but in a lot of things in life. My mom said to me, you know what? You put some in. Maybe even a little less than you think you're supposed to put in, because when you do that and you need a little bit more, you could always put more in. But if you happen to put more in, more salt, more oregano, more basil, you can't take it back out. So put in what you think might be enough or a little less, and then you could always put more. Will these work good enough, you think?
Yeah.
All right, so these are
That's
almost.
exactly what my grandmother used to do.
Totally.
You can put it in, but you can never take it out.
That's right. And doesn't that work a lot in life, Sandy?
Like stuffing.
Yep,
Like
exactly.
Like what?
Nothing.
What?
Stuffing it? Yeah, I don't know.
She's making a joke, and she didn't even get the joke. She didn't get her own joke. Should we cover this?
Yeah, you actually could cover it. If you want.
Now, for those of you that tuned in last week, that's the joke from last week, about covering it. If you haven't seen that one, you got to go back, because near the end, I think it's about 3 minutes near the end, the joke came to fruition, and you got to see my reaction. It was pretty funny. Melissa kept laughing about it for like a good half hour,
Yeah.
and I think she still laughs about it. Are we done with this cutting board?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So I'm going to just give this to Melissa. I was going to say take this, but I'm going to give it to her. And so we put in, how much spinach do we put in? Enough?
Well, I'm gonna put more in as it wilts.
So we're using a whole 16-ounce package of fresh baby spinach. It's organic. That's just what we
We
like.
use less. We eat it so fast that
Yeah, I like it. You know, the spinach gives it a little bit. You know, it gives it a little bit of a chewy flavor. It makes it stringy. It kind of holds it together. It gives it a little more body.
doesn't make it stringy.
Yeah, well, you know, it kind of holds it all together. It gives a little more body. So she puts in about 16 ounces or a full pound.
And you know, if you make spinach, you have like this much spinach, and then you have this much spinach.
Yeah, it starts out, it's like you got a whole field of spinach, and then there's like nothing left. All right, so why don't you tell them a little bit more about the recipe, what's coming next, what else you could do together. You know, is there something else they can make along with this at the same time, or that goes with it as a nice combination? Like, I think one of the recipes. I'm just going to throw this in, and I'll actually let her talk. But I saw a recipe. I saw a recipe with peppers, like bell peppers, and one with sweet potatoes, and one with a squash, where you could just cook those, bake them, have them ready, and then you could just stuff them with this.
He's never made this, by the way. I always make it.
I'm making it now.
You could put a little bit more spinach in now.
I could put more spinach in now. Should I cover it?
No, after you put the more spinach in.
All right, I need room to put that in. So why don't you? Okay. Is that hot? Don't burn it. You know this woman. So this woman right here next to me. This one, she has an amazing, ridiculous propensity not to burn herself. You'd expect that, but to have hot food, oil usually, fly into her eye. I don't know how the hell she does it. She could be sawing I could be sawing wood out in the garage, and she'll be in the kitchen. She'll get a piece of sawdust in her eye. It's incredible. I swear
my brother-in-law once bought me safety goggles for the holidays.
From across the kitchen, this thing will jump and hit her right in the eye. I can't believe it. You really can't make any sense of it.
That's good.
So more spinach. All right, and that's for the trash. Now it's ready for the trash. Do you guys remember that Saturday Night Live episode where they had the anal retentive chef?
No.
All right, so this is the chef that's like super organized, has to do everything right. So he had like chopped something, and there was something left. Let's just say it was like pepper stems, right? Left. He chops it up all finely, takes it, gets it together, puts it in a little bag, labels the bag, puts it in the garbage bag, wraps it all up, and he's like, now it's ready for the trash. So where's my
bowl?
Your big what? Your big handsome guy?
My big bowl.
Right here. Got your big guy here. So this already reduced the first one. I'm having a little trouble with this. So one of the instruments or one of the tools I like in a kitchen are my tongs, because you could just turn it like this and not spill it out of the pot. So when I cook sausage or meats or bacon or anything, anytime I can use the tongs to turn things, I'll pretty much use them. I like it much better. Right? Because now I bring the bottom to the top. So this is going to work down a little bit. What are the next steps that we're doing here, hon?
That's pretty much it. Once that's wilted, we're going to add the quinoa. I'm going to add the quinoa to this bowl, because I was looking for my super big bowl.
Just looking for a super big bowl, but we don't know where it is. Yeah, that's typical in this house.
It disappeared.
It disappeared.
Oh, it's on the floor.
Yeah. The floor is a good place for our Tupperware. So you see how this is getting kind of, it's like wilting. It's kind of almost there. I think I can show you guys. So it's getting close. See, it's getting close. What?
Watch the computer. Bowl.
All right. Did you cook broth with that quinoa?
I did not.
Okay. So sometimes if you want more flavor to your quinoa, you could use a vegetable broth, a chicken broth. What other kind of broths are good for that? Is that pretty much it for this? Well, I don't know that I would use a beef broth with this.
I'm actually not going to use all of this quinoa.
All right, show them how it is, and you fluff it up, and show them how you're working it.
You see the quinoa, everyone? Oh, about 2.5 cup cooked quinoa.
With us, cook this recipe, and this recipe in only 15 minutes.
I don't really love to cook. I just love to eat.
Yeah, love to eat.
And I don't love to clean up after either.
All right, so where's my spatula? There we go. I'm going to get the rest of this stuff.
Don't use the tongs anymore. It's not going to work.
No? I was going to use it to push it on the fork, kind of like I do with my knife. All right? Just like that. Doop. Okay. You want me to throw this in your eye?
No, thank you.
All right, so once we get all of this out, Melissa's going to do her magic for the next step. I don't want to miss any of those onions or spinach. I use all the ingredients.
Okay, so now just put the spinach and the onions on top. I'm just going to kind of work it through the quinoa. Okay. I don't know if you guys can see.
Working it.
And while it's nice and hot,
Working it.
I'm going to put the almonds back in.
Now this is about how much? I think it's about.
It's less than half a cup.
I don't even think it's a quarter cup, but.
No, I measured it before.
No, it was a half a cup. She did a quarter cup.
Yeah, and a little bit more. It looks like. Yeah.
Right.
It doesn't look like that much.
You got someone who's attention. Thanks, Sandy. Woo!
Okay, so that's mixed in. Now I need the half cup. Oh.
I haven't tried these cranberries yet. Let's see if they're good.
All right, I need the half
I
cup.
love almonds.
Half a cup of craisins goes in. And
Wow.
again, you guys can kind of play around. If you want more, you want less.
These are great. These have just cranberries. They do have a little bit of cane sugar. So instead of high fructose corn syrup or some junk like that, it sweetens it a little bit, takes out some of the tartness, but it doesn't make it like too sweet. You know what I mean? And the best part about cooking is.
And here I have crumbled feta. I'm going to do.
How much?
Again, it's a half a cup I start with.
I like more.
And then I usually
I'm a
add.
fan of feta. Anybody else a feta fan? Sandy, you can't get feta. Did you figure out what you could do?
Cheese.
No.
What about goat milk cheese?
You go milk the goat?
I was talking to one of my friends who he cooks all the time, and he said even the goat cheese here is very expensive.
Okay. All right, so maybe
ricotta would ricotta.
I don't think so. Maybe you want to add a firm cheese, maybe, or even maybe a tofu, just to give it the mouthfeel. You're going to miss out on the flavor, but I think with this, you could toss in some Kalamata olive with it, right?
Yeah, because I was going to say, because you're going to miss the saltiness.
Do you want me to get some bowls so we can eat?
Yeah.
Is there anything else that goes in there?
That's it. You might just want to add a little more salt and pepper.
That's it. All right, we're going to use our fancy schmancy bowl, okay? Here. Let's do this. Let me serve it.
Don't save some. We're going to actually eat this soon, so just put a little in.
It looks like somebody else has joined in, but it doesn't have a name, and I don't know if it's one of my students here in Brazil or not. I can't tell.
All right, guys.
Well, welcome, whoever it is.
Yes, welcome. All right, so I only put a little bit in here because she said we're going to eat soon, which means like right now for me. But got a fork. Now I like to get a whole thing of a little feta, little cranberry, quinoa, spinach, all in like one thing. Look at that piece of feta. Sandy, you jealous?
Needs a little more salt, but it's good.
I love that I hate you, and I hate that I love you.
So with the feta gives it some salty feel to it, right?
Yeah, it's really good.
So you don't need it if you throw in some more feta.
You might need some more feta.
But this is really, really nice. I tell you, it's got a little sweet, a little savory, some depth and earthiness from the spinach and the quinoa. It's really wonderful. And the sweet tartness of the cranberries.
I mean, even if you
and that fabulous punch from the feta.
If you wanted to do some grilled chicken and have this on the side, that's good too.
So that's good. Guys, it's been a pleasure sharing with you. So the recipe is in the link when you register for tickets. If you haven't registered for tickets, we're going to give you the link in each of these streams. So Zoom, for you guys, you could go on Facebook, you can go on Instagram, you go on YouTube, and check out the live video.
It looks good.
Oh, look at that. You did it with us, Heath. Great. Dude, that looks great. Let me see you try it. We got Heath on Zoom.
Oh, nice.
Let's see how that comes out. How's that taste?
His mic's
It's so
very good.
very good. Nice. I'm glad. So where are you logged in from, Heath?
We're in Orlando, Florida.
Nice.
Nice.
We were
be so jealous. She wants to eventually.
We were supposed to visit in probably 2 weeks. We were supposed to visit, but we're going to postpone it for next year when the parks are open. You guys are right there in the thick of it. That's awesome. Woohoo!
How do you like it?
Oh yeah.
Good?
And I see you got your.
This is delicious. So I don't like quinoa. I don't like onions, and this is delicious.
Oh, look at that. See? Surprise, surprise. Awesome. Love to hear it,
I'm
Heath.
proud
That's
of you.
great.
I'm proud of you trying, considering all those not likings. That was good.
Yeah, you guys have any other questions with it? So I see you, a young lady with you. Did you help Dad cook?
Not today.
Not today?
Not
But
today.
you're helping him eat it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Cool.
Thanks, guys.
All right, guys.
Tony,
Yeah. Yes.
we do have another Brazilian here. I could see the window. Dani, is that you?
Hi, it's me.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome. Did you
Thank
get to
you.
cook? Did you get to cook with us?
I'm a little late because I just arrived from work
Okay.
job.
So you'll get to watch.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. You'll get to watch because this will stay on YouTube and Facebook. Okay, so you'll be able to watch it later. What I'd love to see is if you
I'm
make
not
it.
too interested in-
What?
I joined the club from Facebook, but I'm not too interested in cook. I'm more interested about improve my English.
Ah, yeah. Well, that's why this is great. Good.
That's good.
All right, good. I hope this
Like that.
helps. You're part of
Yeah.
the Smart English team, right?
We have to make sure we teach her appropriate English words.
Yes, to our students.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great. Sandy, just so you
Yes.
know, what do they call you down there?
It depends. Some call me Sandy, some call me Cassandra.
Okay. Well, Sandy / Cassandra is a very good friend of mine, dear friend of mine, and I'm glad that you're working and learning from her. So that's fantastic.
I'm not really learn from her yet, but I hope I will. And I think next year. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I wouldn't have met her. I don't know her too much. I
Uh-huh.
only have met. I think 2 or 3 times.
Okay.
Yeah, she will be my student when she becomes more advanced, maybe next year.
Awesome.
Yes, I hope so.
Okay, good. Well,
Okay.
we're fingers crossed. We're gonna clap for you. Okay. Your English is pretty good from what I hear. It's pretty good. And Heath, man, you went back for seconds, didn't you?
We have a convert.
Yeah, all right. I love it. Good. All right, guys, we're gonna let you go and enjoy your food. You can see this live, and we're gonna be here every week cooking a quick, healthy, delicious recipe. You're welcome to cook along with us, just like Heath did, and that's fantastic. If you do cook it and you do enjoy it, kick out a post of Berm's on there. Hey, buddy, what's up? Kick out a photo or a video of you guys making it, enjoying it, just so we could see how you guys like it, because we want to know that you're enjoying your time with us and that you enjoy the food, because we can't be there to physically serve you. All right, we would love to do that. Guys, listen, it's been a pleasure. You want to say goodbye with me? Bye, guys. See you next week.
Enjoy. Thanks.
Bye.
Now that awkwardness as we slowly end everything, right?